Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. Just back from the Windermere Record Fair, so I thought I would show you what I've picked up. But before that, I'd like to say a massive thank you to the Statler and Waldorf of the VC, Penge and Derek, for this magnificent award to my channel for super crapness. I hope I live up to your acclaim. Thank you very much. Right, so yes, today was the Windermere Record Fair in the heart of the Lake District here in Cumbria. Smaller than the Kendal one I normally go to. This is the first time I've been to Windermere, by the way. Usually there's two or three vendors. This time I think there was only a couple because one of the vendors has a shop up in Dumfries in Scotland, and it being a Saturday he couldn't get down. Normally these run on a Saturday and Sunday, so if we go again I'll probably go on a Sunday. Right, it's like I said, it's smaller than Kendal, doesn't have the cheap £1, £2 bins that Kendal has. Cheapest were a fiver, though if you bought 5 for a fiver you got them for 20. But the selection was pretty good, and I managed to pick up some good stuff, I think. At least I hope so. So let's show you what I got. First up was 4 by the same group, all in the £5 bin. And that's Weather Report. This first one is Mysterious Stranger. This is their album from 1974 on CBS. This was when, as well as Joseph Zawinul and Wayne Shorter, you had Alphonse Johnson and Miroslav Vitas playing in the band. That should be a really good album. The second from Weather Report is Black Market from 1976. And at this point is when Jaco Pastorius was in the band, along with, I think, Chester Thompson on drums. Next, probably their most famous album, I think, this is Weather Report. Heavy Weather by Weather Report from 1977. This is the one that features their most famous number, Birdland. This is again when with Jaco Pastorius. And the fourth one I picked up was their 1978 album, I think it is, Mr. Gone. Again, this is one with Pastorius in the band. This one doesn't tend to get good critical press, I don't think. Seems a bit of a sellout, but I thought it was cheap, so I'll give it a go. So that's the 4 Weather Report albums. There's going to be a bit of a jazz theme in these pickups. The next one was this 1978 album by John McLaughlin, or as Johnny McLaughlin as he's known on the title, Electric Guitarist. Good. Never heard this one, but it features all the greats, as well as McLaughlin. You get Chick Corea, Stanley Clarke, Dr. Jeanette, Jack Bruce, Tony Williams, Billy Cobham, Jerry Goodman, Carlos Santana, Tom Costa, Armando Peraza, David Sanborn, Alfonso Johnson. So I think this could be a really good fusion album. Next we go to prog and a bit of neo prog, and that's IQ with, I think this is their first proper album. I think they only had a cassette out before that. And this is Tales from the Lush Attic. This is, I think, a 1984 pressing of their first album from 1983. Normally it's a blue cover, and it's on the Classic One Shoe record label. I'm not a massive fan of neo-prog, but I do like the early IQ stuff. So I'm looking forward to giving that a listen. Next up was one I've been looking for a while, because I've loved what I've heard. I've loved the single. This is Ram Jam. Obviously the massive hit single was Black Betty. Obviously they had to distinguish them at this point from probably the Ram Jam band, and they're known as American Ram Jam on here. Good hard rock. I've just heard bits on YouTube, but what I've heard, I've been impressed with. Next up, a classic band, classic album. This is Family with Bandstand. This is with this gimmicky cover made out like an old radiophone. Oops, bear with me. It's the inner. On reprise. And the band at this point was Roger Chapman, Charlie Whitney, Polly Palmer, Rob Townsend, and John Wetton on bass. Was there a band that John Wetton didn't play in? But this one is the one that features My Friend the Sun and the excellent Burlesque. So that's Family with Bandstand. Next up, my first album by Daryl Way's Wolf. Sorry, not my first. I've got that BBC concert that I picked up a few months back. This is, I can't remember if this is their first or their second album, Saturation Point. Obviously, as well as Daryl Way on violin, you had John Etheridge on guitar. I think Deke Mekasar, who was with Caravan, on bass, and Ian Mosley, who played with Trace and then went on to play with Marillion on drums. Great progressive rock fusion. Excellent stuff. Then another one that I owned on CD, but I've never had anything on vinyl, and that's Cochise with their albums So Far. I think they did about 3 albums. I'm not sure where this is in that run. But this obviously features Mick Grabham on guitar and the excellent and ubiquitous BJ Cole on steel guitar. As I said in another video, there wasn't a country rock album released in the UK in the 70s that didn't feature BJ Cole. So that should be really good. Next we come to a bit of Italian avant-garde weirdness with Squadra Omega. I've got a couple of their albums and they're very good. This is their album from 2014, Il Serpente nel Cielo. It comes on this lovely blue swirl, splatter, whatever you want to call it. vinyl. Like I said, they're very avant-garde, weird. They're made up of basically, I think, two guys: Omega Frank, who's a drummer, xylophone, synth, bass player, and Omega Matt, who's on sax and acoustic and electroacoustic percussions. This is an edition of 250 copies. It was inexpensive, so I'm pleased to have picked that up. Next one I'm taking a bit of a chance with, I think, because this is Gruppo di Improvvisazione Nuova Consonanza. And this is the avant-garde group that featured Ennio Morricone in its ranks. Now, this could be totally unlistenable or absolutely brilliant. I know they've got a great reputation. This is not an original, it's a later reissue. I think the original came out in 1966. Well, that could, like I say, that could be brilliant or it could be horrible. But soon find out. And I was really pleased to pick up these next two because we're back with British jazz. And the first one is Elton Dean's 9 Cents with their album Happy Days. This is on the famous British jazz label Ogun. Elton Dean, obviously famous for his time in Soft Machine. But there's other, if you know your Soft Machine, you'll recognise some of the other names in the band. As well as Elton Dean on alto sax, you had Alan Skidmore on tenor sax, Harry Beckett on trumpet and flugelhorn, Mark Sharrig on cornet and tenor horn, Nick Evans on trombone, Raudo Malfatti on trombone, Keith Tippett piano, Harry Miller bass, and Louis Maholo on drums. This will be excellent British, probably free jazz might be the term for it, I suppose. It's really surprising. You don't tend to see the Ogun stuff in the wild, at least I don't. And it was a very good price. And the other one, again on the Ogun label, is SOS. SOS being the 3 saxophonists Alan Skidmore, Mike Osborne and John Sermon. I've got this on CD and it's excellent jazz album. Skidmore is on tenor sax, drums and percussion, Osborne on alto sax and percussion, and John Sermon on baritone, soprano sax, bass clarinet and synthesizers. Excellent stuff. So that's what I managed to pick up. I think I'll definitely be going back to Windermere. So maybe not at the next one, but the first time they hold a Sunday one, I think I'll be going back. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend. See you soon. Bye.